Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, Junet Mohammed surfaced with a very explosive statement during the Eid Baraza that was organized by Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad. For those of you who followed that proceedings, and I did another video where Junet Mohammed was calling William RUTO Kasongo, but we know that he did that because he was trying to, react to RUTO's word that people can call him names when wanataka. So in Junet Mohammed's reaction, Junet decided to address the matter that Justin MUTURI had shared. And during Junet's address, he told Justin MUTURI that if he has some very explosive allegations like the ones he unleashed during the TV interview, he should go to the EACC. He should contact the DCI. In fact, he should table this evidence so that the person responsible can be held accountable.
Sisi kama Wakenya tunataka kusema yasikomee hapo. Kuna madai mazito sana ambaye ametoa Mheshimiwa Justin MUTURI. Na tungemuomba sasa achukue hatua, afike pale kwenye vitengo vya uchunguzi na polisi, awasilishe stakabadhi ambazo yako nazo ili Wakenya waweze kujua ukweli ya yale madai ambaye ametoa.
But again, Junet Mohammed told us about something that is also in people's mind. The scandal of Bonga Tower.
Kuna jumba hapo bunge inaitwa Bonga Towers, ambaye kuna maofisi ya wabunge. Hiyo nyumba wakati tumekaa chini kama wabunge ilikuwa inafaa ijengwe na 6 billion. Wakati MUTURI anatoka kwa ofisi, hiyo jumba ilijengwa na 27 billion.
We all know about this allegation that has been surfacing all over. In fact, it's not even an allegation now, it was confirmed that the initial budget that was funded of 5 point something had been raised, in fact doubled, based on the story that is surfacing. But Junet has given us another figure, which is 22 billion. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to go into that statement from Junet Mohammed. But before I do that, kindly like this video, subscribe to this channel, and thank you so much for all of you who've been supporting us by liking and subscribing. Thank you so much. Now, without wasting much of your time, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into this video.
Kwa sababu mimi pia nina mengi ya kusema juu yake. Mimi kabla ya uchaguzi ya 2022 alikuwa speaker yangu. Nilimwendea. Nikaambia, bwana speaker, si usupport baba yangu anataka kuwa president. Aliniambia, afadhali hii mwizi yetu ambaye anaitwa RUTO kushinda baba yako. Sasa leo RUTO amekuwa mtu mbaya jameni kwake. Ya pili, mimi kama mbunge nataka kuleta mswada nyingine. Yeye ameongea juu ya mambo yote, hakuongea juu ya mambo moja. Kuna jumba hapo bunge inaitwa Bonga Towers, ambaye kuna maofisi ya wabunge. Hiyo nyumba wakati tumekaa chini kama wabunge ilikuwa inafaa ijengwe na 6 billion. Wakati MUTURI anatoka kwa ofisi, hiyo jumba ilijengwa na 27 billion. Hapo pia afafanulie sisi kidogo ili tujue hiyo jumba imetoka 6 billion namna gani na ikafika 27 billion. Fafanua hiyo pia.
So that is what Junet Mohammed told the nation. Now, I want us to explore this statement and see if Junet is telling us the truth or Junet is lying. But first of all, I will take you back to a conversation in TV 47 between the host and Senator Orwaba. And Senator Orwaba was put to task to explain some of the explosive statements that she has been making about the Bonga Tower. And she had this to say.
What I'm trying to tell you is Parliamentary Service Commission is being cheeky, is the word. This house, already at the Senate yesterday, there was a statement that was delivered by Senator Treasury questioning, first of all, the variances. When you have an initial budget of 5.8 and then it just doubles, and that is how you conclude. There is no transparency in the contractors. As it stands now, and in fact those are some of the things we are asking, we are being told go and occupy those spaces. The certificate of completion of that building, I mean, if someone has seen it, they should please share it with us who are going to occupy that space.
Very well. Bonga Tower took 14 years to construct. And if you go to the history, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who've been doing a lot of research on the history of Kenya, if you go back to the history and see how this project was incepted, then you will realize that the person who introduced this idea is Kenneth Marende, and that was way back in 2009. Now, we all remember that back then the president was Mwai Kibaki. So when Kenneth Marende approached Mwai Kibaki for a new office back, office block, which was to expand the parliament, because with the new constitution there was going to be more parliamentarians, so there was need to expand the parliament block. So what they did, Marende presented a budget that was around 5 billion, around 5 to 5.9 billion, which, based on the story that we have, that was agreed by the president back then. That was in 2009. I want to take note of this. It was in 2009. Now, for those of you who remember the launching of that tower, it's called, they labeled it Tower of Babel. That tower was launched in 2024 by William RUTO. But during that time, there was already talk about what is the reason behind the expenditure that Kenyans were treated to. What was the reason behind this? And I remember someone by the name, the Senator Cherargei Gay. Cherargei Gay also poked holes into this budget. And this is what he said back then. Explain the factors that led to the escalation of project costs of the Bonga Tower from the initial budget of 5.89 billion to the revised figure of the 9.6 billion.
And we want value for the money of Kenya. Kwa sababu hizi pesa ambazo ni zilijenga Bonga Tower si pesa za Cherargei ama za mtu fulani. Hizi ni pesa ambazo ni kodi ya wananchi. Na pesa ya wananchi lazima kukuwe na value. Kwa sababu hizi maofisi ambayo tunapewa ni ofisi ya public institutions.
That means that that Bonga Tower, despite the fact that it was constructed, there was a lot of challenges again on the structure. Now, let me take you through something here, because there was a very good reason why that Bonga Tower, the project was actually initiated, because according to Parliament Service Commission, the story that they normally pay up to 1.5 million daily on a single committee sitting. And we know the committees are above 20. So just try to compute this 1.5 million by 22 committees. That would translate to around 1 billion yearly. You see, that's where my math leads me to. That is going to be a lot in terms of expenditure spent on these offices. So the main reason was to cut the budget, which is a very good reason, by the way. But why did this budget double? Junet is telling us about a figure, which of course that can, maybe you can say, sio ukweli, that was just a political figure which he had shared there. But Junet is asking a very, very important question. Why did the budget escalate from the initial budget which Marende had proposed, the 5.9 billion? Mind you, most of the time when this when you do budget, during budget making process, for those of you who've been doing your own budgets za kutengeneza vitu zako, you always estimate on a higher side. But if ile estimate to make a higher side, budget imepita huko, then it can double. You see, you wonder why that figure had to escalate that way. So during this time when this matter was happening, the speaker was Justin Muturi. 2 terms, 10 years he served as a speaker. 2013 to 2022, he was the speaker. So if Kenneth Marende had presented this budget probably on 2009, most likely that construction did not start immediately. There was a lot of planning, mambo mengine yakifanyika before ile contractor awarding and the like. Kuna process ya contractor. Let's just take 1 year ya kutafuta contractor. Well, now that is 2009 plus 1 year, we are in 2010. Now 2010 to bado kuna ile mambo ya disbursement, mambo mengi, let's say 2 years alafu ndio ianze. So if it was 2009, let's say the end of 2009 plus 2 years, unapata kwamba sasa the country was heading towards an electioneering period. Hiyo mwaka wa elections sana sana project nyingi huwa hazifanyiki kwa sababu huo ni pressure ya kurejea kwa ofisi. Then now a new government is elected that comes into place, then maybe wants to familiarize itself with these projects. 2013, let's assume that building has been the construction has started in 2013. The speaker was Justin Muturi. So Junet Mohammed wants Justin Muturi to come out clear on that budget, just like the way he came out clear and talked about $1 billion which he was being coerced to sign at a Dubai airport. Junet wants him to come out clear and talk about the 22 billion, that was spent on Bonga Tower. 22 billion. That's a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. Assuming Junet is telling the truth, 22 billion ni pesa nyingi. But if Junet is telling a lie, either telling a truth, the most important thing is that document that is going to be tabled in Parliament, because Junet is going to table a document in Parliament that seeks to expose the truth behind Bonga Tower. So we as Kenyans, sahi yetu ni macho tu. Opposition, serikali zinapigana vita, zinachafuana majina. We as Kenyans, yetu ni macho tu. We want to see and know what truly transpired during all this time. 14 years is the duration that it took the Bonga Tower to be completed. A whole presidency, tambili ziliisha kama Bonga Tower inatengenezwa. So who is responsible? That's the big question, ladies and gentlemen. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.